Shunnavadi Pashyata Deshitarine. So Krishna is giving this detailed discussion on this chapter that how to be able to control the mind. So now in the fifth and the sixth verse, Krishna emphasized the importance that one who has not been able to control the mind is his most formidable enemy. And one who has been able to conquer the mind is his best friend. So how to know who is in what position, in what situation? In the seventh and the eighth verse, and the other verses also, even in the ninth verse, seventh, eighth, and ninth verse, Krishna is giving the characteristics and the qualities of a person who has been able to conquer the mind. So in the seventh verse, which was discussed last time, there Srila Prabhu discussed, Dr. Dolamani, that the first characteristic of a person who has been able to control the mind is, that is, Chit Atmana. Jit means one who has conquered. And Atmana here means the mind. So, what is the first quality or the characteristic of a person? That he is Prashantasya. Prashant means he is well situated. He is completely at peace. In this world, the most difficult thing is to find peace of mind. Our mind is always in pieces rather than being in peace. When the person passes away, we pray, may he rest in peace, isn't it? But what about till the time he is alive? He is not in peace. He is always in pieces. So the first quality and the characteristic of a person is that he is prashantasya. Samyak rupena prashantasya. That he is completely at peace. And the second quality is Paramatma Samahita. That he has achieved or he has reached his connection with the super soul. Not only he has realized that he is himself soul. What is the problem with all of us? What is our level of realization? What is our level of realization? Who are we? Either the body or the mind. But one who has been able to control the mind, he knows that he is not the mind. Don't we say? Huh? You are absent-minded. Huh? Or we say, mind you. What does it mean? That you bring your mind here. So we bring your mind here means that, are you the mind? No. But still we lack this realization or this knowledge. Or we do not have this conviction that we are beyond mind. Why? Because the imposition of the mind in our life is so heavy that we identify ourselves only with our mind and body. So he is Paramatma Samahita. So he has realized that he is beyond the body and the mind. And he has not only realized himself, but he has also realized the Supreme, the Super Soul. So such a person is Shito Ushna. Now what are you feeling? What are you feeling? Sheet. Sheet is gone. Just 1 month back I was coming, everybody was feeling sheet. But now what everyone is feeling? Last 2 days what has happened? Everyone is feeling the heat. Suddenly the summers have come from nowhere, isn't it? Everyone is, the fan is not here, but fan is required. Such a fan is there outside. But fan is required. No? Without fan, you cannot survive. Why? Because we are identifying ourselves with body. But such a person who has conquered the mind, you see, neither he requires an air conditioning, nor he requires a geyser or a heater. He is Shut Ushna, he is beyond both. The duality of heat and cold. Heat and cold pertains to the impact on the body, isn't it? Do we feel heat and cold in the mind? No. Heat and cold is felt through the body. So, such a person is beyond the duality of Sheet and Ushna. Not only he is beyond the body, he is also beyond the mind. How? Sukha Dukkheshu. Where is Sukha and Dukkha feel? On the body, in the mind. And he's even beyond the subtle level of false ego. There are various levels. Like we have the gross body, we also have the subtle body. Subtle body is like the software, which runs the gross body, which is like the hardware. Isn't it clear? So software, is it visible? No, it is loaded inside. But without software, can you run the hardware? It is useless. Like you have mobile also. Mobile, how it runs on? Apps. Apps. Everything is now working on apps. So in this app, there are also different levels. So what is the gross level? Is the mind. Then more subtle and finer than the element of mind is the element of intelligence. And even more subtle is the false ego. So Shita and Ushna is for the gross body. Then Dukh and Sukh is for the subtle body at the level of mind. But Man and Apaman is even more subtle. It impacts us the most, isn't it? Where you are getting some honor and prestige, do you mind being there even if it is cold? If you are being called for award, even if you have to go to Siberia, what you will say? I will not go there. It is too cold. What will happen? You are most interested to go. Why? Because what you will get there? Man. Wow. So, but such a person, this is the characteristic of a person who, so see, all this is been spun, or it is all woven around what? The mind. What is woven around mind? Shita and Ushna, Sukha and Dukkha, Mana and Apamana. So why we are affected by all these incidents or happenings in our life? Because we have not been able to control them. We are controlled by the mind, so all these factors affect us in our life. But a person who has been able to control the mind, he is beyond all this duality. That means he is on the absolute platform. Absolute platform means he is on the spiritual platform. On the spiritual platform, these dualities or these happenings will not affect him. But how to come to that level? How to go beyond the level of gross body? How to go beyond the level of mind? How to go beyond the level of material intelligence and the false ego? Prabhupada gives a very powerful purport here. Prabhupada says that one has to abide by superior dictation. There's only one remedy to control the mind, and you cannot control the mind. Can we control our mind? No. But someone who is superior, like this child he is playing, on his own, will he be controlled? No. You need someone. You need someone who is superior to him. So when the mind knows that there is someone superior to me, and when the mind has to submit to the dictation of that superior personality or the authority, then the mind becomes controlled. Otherwise, you may try whatever. If you go to any seminar or any workshop or any discussion of mind control, the result will be only one, 100% failure. That is why so many times I have said, every new year people make resolutions. But what is the outcome of the resolution? It is dissolution. There is no success. Why? Because you have no power or capacity to go beyond your mind. That we will see. Arjuna will speak. In the further coming verses, Arjuna will speak that what is the characteristic of the mind. Now we are discussing the characteristic of a person who has controlled the mind. He is beyond the duality of body. He is beyond the duality of mind. He is also beyond the duality of false ego. Why? Because he is in the spiritual platform. And on the spiritual platform, he has communion. He has connection with the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada says the effect of controlling the mind is that one automatically follows the dictation of the Paramatma or Super Soul. Because this transcendental position is that one achieved by one who is Krishna conscious. A devotee of the Lord is unaffected by the dualities of material existence, namely distress and happiness, sukha and dukkha, cold and heat, etc. This state is practical samadhi or absorption. So how one comes to this situation, that he is able to conquer? It is in the next verse. Very beautiful verse. We will recite this verse and also we'll try to cover the next verse, which will also again talk about the further qualities and characteristics of a person who has been able to control and conquer his mind. So the first thing Krishna says here in the 8th verse is, you can recite after me, Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutasto Vijitendriya Yukt iti uchyate yogi Samalostra Shama Kanchana Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutasto Vijitendriya Yuktiti Uchyate Yogi Samalost Ashma Kanchana Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutasto Vijitendriya Yuktiti Uchyate Yogi Samalost Ashma Kanchana. Right? Bolo? Simple. What we have to do, we have to hear and we have to repeat. Simple. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutasto Vijitendriya Yukta iti uchyate yogi Samalostra Shma Kanchana. Very good. बहुत अच्छा. You recite? No, you give it to him.
Jnana Vijnana
Triptatma.
Jnana
Vijnana Triptatma
Kutasto Vijitendriya
Yukta iti uchyate yogi Yukta iti uchyate yogi Lostra Samalostra Shma Kanchana. See, very simple. It is not difficult. You see the word meaning? See. Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. Read from the word meaning. Okay? Kutastha Vijitendriya Yukta iti uchyate yogi Samalost Ashma Kanchana. Simple. You try.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutasto
Vijitendriya
Yukta iti uchyate yogi
Yukta iti uchyate yogi
Samalostra Kanchana.
Samalostra Kanchana. Do little practice also. Just not after 1 week or 2 weeks you come, just turn off and then forget it. It should not be like this. We are feeding the body every day, few times, isn't it? So we should also feed the soul at least once a day. Be compassionate to the soul also. Hare Krishna. Read.
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma
Jnana Vijnana Triptatma Kutasto Vijitendriya Yukta iti uchyate yogi Samalostra Shma Kanchana. Good. You want to recite? Right? Give it to her.
Jnana Vijnana
Triptatma
Kutasto Vijitendriya
Kutasto Vijitendriya
Yukta iti uchyate yogi
Yukta iti uchyate yogi
Samalosrasma kanchana.
Samaloshashma kanchana. Okay. So the first word Krishna is speaking here is that a person who has conquered the mind is Jnana Vijnana Triptatmaha. So what is Gyan? Gyan is knowledge, but it pertains to information. Like, what is the formula of water? But just by saying H2O, does it quench your thirst? So what is it? It is not Anubhav. Can you Anubhav water? Ah. So H2O is what? It is theory, theoretical knowledge. It is just the formula. But it does not lead you to some satisfaction or contentment. Does it lead you to contentment? No. By the way, I also need water. I should keep water. So Jnana. But Vijnana is what Vijnana means? Vijnana means further than Jnana. Anyone here? What is Vijnana? What is the difference between Jnana and Vijnana? What is that Vishesh? Yeah. Yes. That which has been backed by experience. That means which has been applied or which has been realized. Please come. You want to join? Come. Sit. So that knowledge which has been realized. That means, you know, the formula is H2O, but with that formula, you have applied the formula and you have made water. Then it is Vijnana. It is called, very good, it is called the Vishesh Jnana. So Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidyaya. It is Brahma Vidyaya. And it is Yoga Shastra. So this is the eternal knowledge. And this knowledge, which is the imperishable knowledge, which has never changed. Why? Because this is both. Krishna will speak in the further verses also. Idam tu te guhyetamo pravakshyami anusuyave. It says, Jnana Vijnana Sahitam. So Krishna is always not, he's not just giving theory. In all our academic knowledge, what do we get? We only get Jnana. There is no possibility of Vijnana. They may write Vijnana, science, but it's not Vishesh Jnana. So Krishna is saying Jnana Vijnana. So what is the Vijnana here? That is Triptatma. That one, if one receives the Vijnana, if we receive this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna is giving, so then what one becomes? He is Tripta. Atma is again referred here to the mind. The focus is the mind. So is the mind always satisfied? What is the situation of our mind? Is it Tripta? It is always atripta. Isn't it? It is always hankering and desiring. So what it means? That the mind is not in control. Mind is not in, neither it is in Jnana, neither it is in Vijnana. So mind is the karanam of our vinash. It is the karanam of our destruction. So the first thing is Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. So the person is fully satisfied. So this satisfaction, what is the cause of this satisfaction? Is that he has realized this knowledge. He has applied this knowledge. And he is experiencing this knowledge. So what is the result of experiencing this knowledge which Krishna is giving? That he is Tripta. He is fully satisfied. Thank you so much. Thank you. You keep it there for everyone. Leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it. So first thing is that he is situated in knowledge. And with that knowledge, he has applied in his life. So how the jnana comes? We see how we receive jnana. Simply by hearing. Hearing. But we hear so much. But it does not translate into Vijnana. So after hearing, what we have to do, like what we are hearing from Krishna, we have to deliberate, which is called the contemplation. So when this jnana, which is received through the organ ear, when it is contemplated or when it is deliberated, where it reaches? It reaches the head. It reaches our intelligence. And the intelligence starts to churn. And when it is applied, then it reaches our heart. So that jnana converts into vijnana. When the jnana converts into vijnana, when what we have heard or what we have received, when we applied, when it becomes a part of our life. So it is called vijnana. So jiva is triptatma. When he receives this knowledge, then he is triptatma. And he is kutastho. Kutastho means that he is perfectly situated. He is spiritually situated. So what is the spiritually situated mean? He is situated in his constitutional position. He is not in the any artificial position. What is the artificial position? What is the difference between the constitutional position and the artificial position? What is the artificial position? I am this body, or I am this mind, and this body and the mind is the means of my enjoyment. And this material world is created for my enjoyment. So I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am the master, I am the proprietor, and so on and so forth. So these are all artificial. Has anyone been able to do that? Just 1 or 2 days before, I was just seeing the news. There was one very big Don in UP. I don't want to name him, but now, today his funeral was there. At one point of time, just 20 years back, he used to declare very boldly, and no police officer or anyone could touch him. Whoever wanted to touch him, right on the street, he could shoot them, not with 100-200 rounds, 500 rounds of bullets. Even big politician, he would openly kill. He was so fearlessly flaunting, and no one can dare to touch me. Now what happened to him? He has been demolished to dust. So this is, the person is artificially situated. He is thinking that he is the master, or he is the controller, or he is the enjoyer. So first thing is that he is in knowledge, and with knowledge comes satisfaction. When the knowledge is applied, it will give us the satisfaction of the heart. It is kutastho. Triptatma. And then he is kutastho. Kutastho means he is rightly situated. First he is satisfied, then he is rightly situated, and he is vijitendriya. Vijitendriya means that he has controlled his senses. Indriya means the senses. So he is satisfied. He is self-realized. Situated means that he has realized the self, that he is the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So that is the constitutional position. Krishna says, Mame Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So he has realized this. So he is self-realized. He is satisfied. See, 3 S's. He is satisfied, he is self-realized, and also he is Vijitendriya. That means he is controlled. He is self-controlled. And he is also Yuktaha. Yuktaha means he is well connected. Yukta. So if you will see in Bhagavad Gita, this word of yoga, Yukta and yogi, is repeatedly being used by Krishna. Krishna emphasizes on this so much. Every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the chapter entitlement is yoga. Here it is the Dhyana Yoga. Before this, what we were discussing, all the chapters are of Karma Yoga. After this, what will be the chapters? Bhakti Yoga. And after that, what will be the section? Jnana Yoga. So everywhere, the point is to connect to Krishna. So it is yukta. Such a person is yukta, means he is competent for self-realization and he is a yogi. Yogi means one who is able to control his mind, is mystic. And what is his quality or characteristic? Such a yogi or such a personality, see, it is even more higher, more advanced than what we have discussed. Sama means he treats equally. What he treats equally? Lostra. Lostra means the pebble. If you have been coming to this class today, in the way you would have seen many pebbles. Did your attention go there? Anywhere? Did your attention go? This construction is happening now. So many pebbles and stones are there, spread out everywhere, isn't it? You all came, at least you have to walk from outside till here now, even if you come by vehicle. There are so many stones and pebbles. Did your attention go anywhere? But just imagine if some gold was, lying outside, then what will happen? Then what will happen? We will automatically stop there. And what will be our position? We will start looking around. If somebody is watching, if somebody is observing us, and if we don't find someone, what we will do? We will pick it up. But such a yogi or such a triptatma is sama. He treats equally the lostra. Pebbles, Ashwa is the stone, and Kanchana is the gold. We cannot even imagine how it is possible. But I'll tell you one story, a real story. That what it is, that what it means to be Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. You have seen, someone who has been the conqueror of this entire world. There is one personality who is considered to be the big conqueror. Jo Jita Wohi Sikandar. His name is so much, taken with so much of reverence that he was one of the greatest conquerors. So this Sikandar, I think he was from Greek. He was a Greek nation. And he came to India. He came to India also. And he almost conquered most of the India. He met with Chandragupta Maurya. So when he came and he conquered in India, he knew, he was little aware also, because in Greek also there have been some spiritualists. Particularly, there is the name of Aristotle. You heard? He was a Greek philosopher. And so he had heard from Aristotle that in India, there are sages, there are some saints who are very, very advanced in spiritual knowledge. So first you see, people, what is their desire? They want to receive all the wealth of the world. It is said in Ramayana, in Sundarkand, I have personally read, that Ravana had almost all the wealth of the world. His wealth of the treasury was even more than the wealth of King Indra. And also he had the most beautiful ladies in his inner chambers. But still he was not satisfied. What he was? He was atripta. He was hankering for Sita. Yeah. So similarly, this person who comes in the lineage of Ravana, a new avatar of Ravana called Alexander. So when he came to India, he came to know when he was in Takshila. Takshila, it is near Punjab. Yeah. So when he came to Punjab, there is a very powerful sage in the forest, a saintly person. Because he was, massacring everyone and he was winning all over. And everyone was submitting and surrendering to him. Nobody was able to oppose him. So he sent his messenger with a farman, a declaration, a royal declaration, that he was asking that saint to come and meet him. But the saint ignored it. So he sent 1, 2, 3. Sent 3 summons. And like this Kejriwal, ultimately he is in jail. What happened immediately? First summons were coming, and what he was doing? He was ignoring. But this is different twist. This is different story. So many summons came, but this saint, he ignored it. Then he sent his religious person. He thought that if he will go and speak, then there will be some impact and that sadhu will come to me. So what he did with the religious person, he sent some gifts. And along with the gift, he sent the invitation. So this person came and he met with this sadhu and the sage. And he said that I'm representing Alexander the Great. And he has a desire to meet you, to see you. He wants to have some philosophical discussion with you. So this sadhu laughed and he refused to come and he returned the gifts also. And he said, you tell your king that I am not interested to meet him. Neither I have any time to discuss with him any philosophy. So this was a religious man. So he did not protest much. He returned back. So when Alexander came to know that this saintly person, Indian sadhu, has refused his gift and refused his invitation, he became very angry. Because as person go up in position, what goes up, it falls even. How dare he refuse me? So he wanted to take out his sword, but the religious person said that please give him one more chance. So this time he sent his commander-in-chief that you go and you tell him that if he does not obey my order, what will happen? He'll be killed. So the commander-in-chief came and he told that the king has called you. And if you do not come or if you return his invitation, turn down his invitation, you will be killed. Still the saint did not give any attention or there was no fear. The sage simply laughed and said, what can you kill me? You cannot even touch me. He said, go and tell your conqueror that I will never come to you. So this, although this was a military man, he was merciless. He had murdered many, but seeing the aura and the prowess of the sage, he was having fear in his heart. He did not have the courage to kill him. He returned back. And he told the Alexander. So Alexander thought that I sent so many summons. He returned. I sent even gift. He still returned. I sent the best of my military person. Still he has returned. Then this must be something very special person. Then he wanted to check it out himself. Let me go and see him. And to have an impact, he was also having some doubt in his heart that this person is invincible. So he asked for his entire army to come along. And when they reached his place, his hermitage, so he stopped and he asked very, loudly. He roared like a lion, Alexander. And he said that how dare you return my gift? Is this culture of your country that you return the gifts? So the sage replied, they were smeared with blood. Your gifts were smeared with blood. It is of no good to me. So when the Alexander heard this, so he became a little frightened. And he got down from his horse and he came in front of the sage. And he said, do you know who I am? And what the sage replied? That you yourself do not know who you are. Who you are? You are 1 to the 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. This is the size. You may think whatever you are. So he felt very insulted. Alexander was completely humiliated. And then he dragged his sword, tried to threaten and say that that the land where you are sitting and meditating, it belongs to me. And if you do not obey my orders, if you do not submit to me, I can kill you. So the sage said that you are so foolish that you are claiming that this land belongs to you. Before your birth, this land existed. Did it belong to you? And after you die, this land will still exist. It never belonged to you, neither it will ever be yours. And how much land you will require? How much land you will require? You will require 2 yards of land to sleep peacefully. So this is Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. And Alexander is Atriptatma, is Parishanatma. And ultimately he died. He could not reach where he died. So the sage told him, even there is a long discussion. I've just given you few, interaction. So he said that the land will not be yours. It will be someone else. But the scar on your soul will never leave. The scar on your soul. Scar का मतलब समझे? जो तुमने कार्य किया है, उसका जो फल है, वो तुमसे कभी छूटा नहीं पाओगे. So in this way, so this is a Jnana Vijnana Triptatma. He does not require it. A person is hankering, he is lamenting, he needs economic development, he needs, fame, glory, prestige, position, this, that. That means he is on the bodily platform. He has not realized the knowledge. Neither he has been able to conquer his mind nor his senses. So let us see Prabhupada's purport. A person is said to be established in self-realization. So see, he is kutasto, means he has realized himself and he has also realized the Supreme. It's already said there that he is Paramatma Samahita. In the previous verse, Krishna has said, Jitatmana Prashantasya Paramatma Samahita. So he is kutasto, he is self-realized. God realization includes the self-realization. So a person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realizations. Very important. So if we have to succeed or if we have to progress in spiritual life, what we require? What we require? Realization. What we lack is realization. And realization will only come when we practice the philosophy. What is higher than the philosophy is the practice and the application of the philosophy. Unless and until, like, I'll give you an example, like prescription. You may be knowing that what is the cure for a particular disease. But just by knowing that this is the medicine, like you see, we have fever, high fever, you take paracetamol. But just this knowledge, will it cure the fever? What you have to do? You have to take the drug. And how it is to be taken? Not by our own whims. Prabhupada gives the famous example. Do you take prescription by your own choice or by your friend's advice? Who has to advise? Doctor has to prescribe. When the doctor prescribes and when you subscribe, then the impact is there, that you get cured. But if you only have this knowledge that this medicine will, cure this disease, is that sufficient? You have to subscribe to the dosage to the medicine. And also along with the prescription comes the, what are the do's and the don'ts. If you don't follow the regulations, will the medicine work? It will not work. Will it work? It will not work. So here, it's very important. So here it is said that when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realizations. So realizations in spiritual life will only come when we apply. And to apply, what we have to do? We have to control the mind. We have to curb the mind. What is the biggest impediment not allowing us to convert from the level of information to realization is the obstacle of our mind. So we have to go against the wind of the mind. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. And he sees everything, whether it be pebble stone or gold, as the same. A very high level of advanced realization. To be able to see everything as the same. What it means? To see everything as useless. It has no connection with the Atma. All useless. It's just distraction or waste. So Prabhupada begins the purport by saying, book knowledge without realization of the supreme truth is useless. Very powerful statement. Most of the time what we have? We don't have even book knowledge. The knowledge of the book is contained within the book. Hardly we open and we study. So what it has to be done? It has to be applied. So it will get converted from knowledge to realization. And how it will happen? This is stated as follows. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Rayam Indriya Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivado Swayameva Spurati Yada. So no one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Sri Krishna through this materially contaminated senses. So what people are, showing themselves or, projecting themselves as devotees, or they are expressing their so-called emotions. What can they understand about Krishna? Yeah, just say, no one can understand. Prabhupada is saying not one can understand or two can understand. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality, and pastime of Krishna through this materially contaminated sense. So unless and until one has come to this stage of Jnana Vijnana and he's tripta, what can he understand? Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service of the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. So unless and until one senses become spiritualized. And how they become spiritualized? When they are disentangled from material engagement and entangled in, they are engaged in spiritual pursuits. Unless and until one is following the four regulative principles, one is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one is eating Krishna Prasad, one is practically performing devotional service, he cannot understand this science. It's not possible. Prabhupada is saying no one, not one, no one can understand. Like somebody wants to show that she is going to become mother. And how can she become mother? She has to first get into the marriage act. She has to have a husband, and then she has to have 9 months of pregnancy. Then she can become mother. Just by claiming and saying and talking that she will become mother, how can she become mother? She cannot become mother. So unless and until one has applied the philosophy, one has applied the principle, one has subscribed to it, he can never know what is transcendence or what is spiritual taste. So when one is engaged, when one is disentangled from the material engagement, and when he is engaged spiritually, then it is revealed to him. This Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious. Again, Prabhupada is hammering. Same statement, like it was in before. See, both the paragraph is saying no one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. That is what? Jnana. Mundane scholarship is what? Jnana. One must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure consciousness. How it converts into Vijnana. How this Jnana converts into Vijnana? It is the converter. So you need a converter. Like you are getting this electricity. This electricity is how much? 230 or 220 volt. But how it is 220 volt? Because there is a transformer. If the transformer is not there, what will happen? You connect your fan with the electricity, what will happen? It will blast. It will blast. You need a step down. You need a transformer which converts. What it converts? DC into AC. DC into AC. This is the science. So this is the Prabhupada is saying. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by one must be fortunate enough to associate with a person. So a person is required who is going to be a converter, who is going to be a connector. So if you don't have the connector, one will never get connection. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by grace of Krishna. So how this Vijnana comes? By Krishna's mercy. And when can one attract mercy? Because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. So when one performs service. So unless and until one performs service, one cannot have any realizations. And how service is to be performed? Under the direction of a person who is Krishna conscious. They're very simple. Like all of you, you are all doing PhD. So whatever PhD you have to do, all the books are there. Everything is there in the library. So why do you need a guide? You pick up the books, go to the lab, do your experiment and become a PhD. Why the person is required? Required? Why required? Does he have anything which is not given in the book? Does he give you any knowledge which is not outside the book? Huh? Wait. Think for it. If somebody has to become a doctor, why he has to be to become a junior doctor? Why cannot he, study all the books and become doctor? Why cannot one become a lawyer by studying the book? Why cannot one become chartered accountant by studying the laws? Why does he require to be under someone who is already a practitioner? Isn't it? What is required? A practicing person is required. Without the practicing person, can one become? If one cannot become in the mundane world, what to speak of the spiritual world? Of the spiritual science? By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions. Very important. So unless until realization is there will not be steadiness. One will not be kutastho. Kutastho means he is fixed. That means there is no deviation. Otherwise, what will happen? Little bit of disturbance, what will happen? Immediately deviated, immediately distracted, or rather immediately degraded. Anyway, there is no spiritual platform. Just by struggle, little bit of spiritual practice is there, but there is no connector, there is no connection. What will happen? Disturbance will come. Material world, you cannot have existence without disturbance. Is it possible? Padam padam yad vibadam na tesham. This material world means there will always be uncertainty and disturbance. So amidst all this uncertainty and disturbance, what we lack? Conviction. अरे पता नहीं यार, ये लिखता है, ये लोग बोलते हैं होगा या नहीं होगा, हरे कृष्णा करने से मुझे तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा. मैं तो कई बार किया, हाँ, हर जन्माष्टमी में हरे कृष्णा करता हूँ लेकिन मुझे तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा. क्यों? क्योंकि कन्विक्शन नहीं. क्यों नहीं है? रियलाइजेशन नहीं. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his conviction, but by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. See the purports and the perfection of Srila Prabhupada. This is what happens with most of the practitioners. They are easily deluded by confusion. Why they are confused? Because there is no clarity, there is no conviction. Why there is no clarity and conviction? Because they have no one to guide them. Even if there is some guide, they don't want to follow. So what will happen? They will be caught between Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana and Apamana. Now, what is the chance for them? It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. This is the most attractive part to draw mercy. Is the process of surrendering. And what it means to surrender? In one sentence, what it means to surrender? What does surrender mean? To go against our mind. Simple. To go against our mind. This is the most difficult thing. The problem with us is we are eternal slaves of our mind. Our eternal master is our mind. So if we are fortunate and if we are pure enough to be able to replace the mind with a superior person, a spiritual person, then there is no stoppage in the progress. But if we fail to do that, then there is no progress. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation which may be as good as gold to others. Very important. What the people in the world are saying, it may be gold to others. So Prabhupada is so practically writing. What the other, the mundane people, they may be scholar, or they may be, big professors or academicians or technicians or so-called scientists. It may seem to be gold. Prabhupada is giving such a deep purport that what may think to be of gold for the worldly people is like a pebble or stone for a spiritualist, and is of no greater value than the pebble or stone. So this is one who has conquered the love. He cares a damn to what the worldly person thinks or what they pursue. And what is his position? A very beautiful verse. If he does this, if he is Triptatma, very beautiful. He is Jnana Vijnana, Triptatma, he is, तो वर्ष याद हो जाएगा, समझ जाओगे तो वर्ष याद हो गया. He is Kutastha. Kutastha means he is situated in his constitutional position. He knows his position. So he cannot be deluded. He cannot be deviated. He knows his position. Jivere Sarup hoye, Nityer Krishna Das. This position can never change. Body will change. Sthanam will change. Positions will change. One may be from human species to animal species to demigod species to any other species. Planets may change. But what will never change? The eternal position of the Jiva will never change. So he is fixed and he is self-control. So such a person, 9th verse, Suhin Mitrari Udasina Madhyastha Dvesha Bandhushu Sadhusu Api Cha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate Shruhin Mitrari Udasina Madhyastha Dvesha Bandhushu Sadhushu Api Cha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. Recite. Sruhen Mitrari Udasina Madhyastha. Madhyastha Dvesha Bandhushu Sadhushu Api Cha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. Okay, anyone on the ladies' side? Recite. What a fortune to recite the verses which are recited by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. We should be so keen and eager. Why to miss the opportunity? Bolo.
Suhin Mitrari Udasina
Suhin Mitrari Udasina Madhyastha Dvesha Bandhushu Sadhushu Api Cha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vishishyate. The first word is Suhita. Hit you understand, na? Hit means what? Beneficial. And Suhit means most beneficial. Such a person who is always wishing best for us, our eternal well-wisher. So the first word is Suhit, one who is well-wisher by nature. Who is well-wisher? Our parents, mother and father. The child may think against them. The son and the daughter may think against them. But the father and mother will hardly think. Yeah. Or one who is actually a friend. Friend means what? I don't know. What is your understanding of friend? Friend means, according to Shastra, one who is Suhit. Who is your always well-wisher, not well-wisher. In our experience, what kind of friend we have? We have fair weather friend. You understand what is fair weather friend? जब तक उसको और मुझे आपस में म्यूचुअल चल रहा है तब तक दोस्ती है. देखते हैं ना, आप ट्रेन में बैठते हैं दोस्ती हो जाती है, स्टेशन आता है दोस्ती समाप्त. जब तक सफर में साथ था तब तक दोस्त है, उसके बाद दोस्त नहीं है. सुहित. Shruhit means one who is ever well wisher. Can you find any one friend? If you find one, you are very lucky. Who is Shruhit? Then there is Mitrari. Mitra means friend. But the Mitra is not Shruhit, isn't it? So even if either he is Shruhit or whether he is Mitra, and the other is Ari. Ari means enemy. So see the level of advancement. Not only he is able to see what is the advancement, he sees the stone and pebble and gold as one. But he is even advanced. What he is saying? He is saying Shruhit, Mitra and Ari as one. Can we see that? If somebody says any negative word to us, criticizes us, what do we consider him? Shruhit? Mitra? What do we consider him? Ari. Consider him Ari. And there is immediately there is discrimination. So Shruhit, Mitra, Ari, and Udasin. Udasina means one who is neutral. Neutral means is not interested. अरे तुम जियो मरो जो मर्जी हो. I'm least bothered. Or Madhyastha. Madhyastha means one who is a mediator. Mediator between two opposing parties. So one may be in whatever position. You are getting the broader view. Whether he is Suhit, he is my most well-wishing, whether he is my Mitra, good. But even if he is my enemy, or even if he is Udasina, or even he is a Madhyastha, or even he is a Dveshi, one who is envious of me, or even one is a Bandhu, he may be my brother. Even the person is Sadhu, sage, or even if a person is a sinner. It is said now, one should see the saint and the sinner with equal vision. How to see? It is only a statement. Here is the science Krishna is giving. How to be able to see? Sama buddhir vishishyate. That one's buddhir means intelligence. So how one is able to see? Because his intelligence is saturated with spiritual realizations. His intelligence has transformed. But you will see what Prabhupada will write in the purport. Very interesting. A person is considered still further advanced. So see the level of advancement. First was Shita and Ushna, Man and Sukha and Dukha, Mana and Apamana. Then it was Lostra, Ashma and Kanchana. Now it is Mitra and Ari, Sadhu and Papi, or even one is Bandhu and Dvesha. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutrals, mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. Very advanced. So that is when one is Kutastha. This is the quality and the characteristic of a person. So how to come to this level? There is one practical story which has very much inspired me. You have all heard of Sripad Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, a great Vaishnava Acharya from Sri Sampradaya, from Sri Rangam. He had many, many distinguished disciples. And one of his distinguished disciples was Kuresh, who was a very wealthy landlord. But when Srila Ramanujacharya, he started to preach the philosophy of Vaishnavism, So one of his first disciple was Dashrathi, and the second disciple was Quraysh. Quraysh was a very wealthy landlord, but he came to what was the place? Kanchipuram, to Kanchipuram, and submitted. He became the disciple of Ramanuja, and he was receiving knowledge. So once Quraysh asked Sripad Ramanujacharya that I want to understand the proper meaning of the verse Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. This is the highest verse of Bhagavad Gita for surrender and submission. And Sripad Ramanujacharya told him that you have to completely depend and follow the instructions of your spiritual master for 1 year. So Quraysh said that I don't know whether I will live for 1 year or not. So I may die without the proper realization. So Gyan he had. He was knowing what is Mamekam Sharanam. Krishna is saying. What is the verse beginning with? Sarva dharmani parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. But he said, I want to know the inner meaning and the realization. So it was told by Sripad Ramanujacharya that you have to fully depend on the mercy of the spiritual master. And of course, Quraysh did that fully. So what happened was, then when Ramanujacharya became very prominent in preaching, so in South India, there were other kings, previously in India was divided by, just close the door so that the voices from outside are not coming. So there was one king who was very, very envious of Sripad Ramanujacharya. Because Ramanujacharya, by his preaching, he was attracting everyone. And those who were not even Vaishnava, those who were Shakta, or those who were Daiva, or those who were Smarta, they were all, because they had no depth, they were all attracted towards Sripad Ramanujacharya. So there was this king, his name will come. So he invited Ramanujacharya in his kingdom for a debate. Previously, there used to be a debate. Scholars used to have debate. But when this king invited, so this king was very, very envious of Ramanujacharya. And he had a plan to kill Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya was stopped, was requested by Quraysh that you please do not go there. So I will go to represent you. I will myself go. And with him, Mahapurna also went. Both of them went. And there was a debate. And Quraysh, because he had realized Sarvdharmani Parityajya, and he had actually done it. What it is that Sarvdharmani Parityajya, what it means to be Jnana Vijnana Truptatma, and what it means to be Sruhin Mitrari Udasina. So in the debate, Quraysh convincingly defeated all the arguments of the Shaivites that they wanted to establish that Shiva is the supreme. And very easily Quraysh established from the scriptures that Lord Vishnu is the supreme. So he became very annoyed, the king became very annoyed. And he captured both of them. And he said that unless and until you submit and surrender and say that Shiva is supreme, I will get both your eyes plugged out. But of course, these were Vaishnavas, great surrendered devotees. He never said that. And the king actually got both the eyes of Quraysh plugged out. And then he abandoned him in the forest. Somehow Quraysh reached Kanchipuram. And Sripad Ramanujacharya, he was in Srirangam. He came to know that this has happened with Quraysh. So Ramanujacharya sent his disciple to Quraysh. And he said that in Kanchipuram, there is Lord Varadaraj. Next time when we go to South India, we will go to Lord Varadaraj also. Varadaraj. Vara means one who gives benediction. And Da means who bestows. And Raj means who is the king. He is the one who is the king of giving all benediction. He is so favorable, Lord. And he had so much of affection for Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya sent his disciples to give this message to Quresh, that you please request Lord Varadaraj to restore your eyes. But, Quresh was there. He was going every day to take darshan, but he was not requesting anything. He was requesting, but he was not requesting his return of his eyes. What he was requesting? He was requesting Varadaraj to forgive that king who did this atrocious and heinous act. Why? Because he was on that platform where he could see Suhitra, Mitra, Ari, as he said. So later, Sripad Ramanujacharya became a little angry with him. And he said, why you are not asking Lord Varadaraj? As soon as you ask, Lord Varadaraj will immediately give you your vision and eyes back. So Quresh revealed that I am praying that nothing goes wrong with that king who took away my eyes. The Lord does not, Lord's curse does not follow him. And Ramanujacharya was so pleased to see the advancement of his disciple. So it is not that this is all bookish only. There are people. In Srila Prabhupada's life also, it happened once. Prabhupada was preaching in Canada. Prabhupada was preaching in Canada. Prabhupada was very, outspoken and very courageous. So there was one Bengali person in Canada. So one day, in the midst of Prabhupada's discourse, spiritual discourse, he stood up and he very much, tried to criticize Prabhupada publicly, humiliate, and said, why you have come here? Who has invited you? And all, in a very derogatory way he spoke. And Prabhupada's disciples, they became very, very, angered and furious. They wanted to throw him out. But they had, they were not having the courage because Prabhupada was not opposing him. So after a few days, after that incident, that gentleman, that Bengali person, not a gentleman, ungentle Bengali, he was not seen. And when Prabhupada was leaving Canada, so Prabhupada asked his disciple that where is that Mr. Gangul? I have not seen him. So the Brahmanand Prabhu and others said that better he does not come here. Otherwise, we will not spare him. Prabhupada said no. That he is my well-wisher. That he is making me feel that I am in this material world. So this is the position of those who are really advanced on spiritual platform. They are not affected by man and apaman. They are not affected by sukha and dukkha. And they see everyone as equal. Whether he is Suhit, whether he is Mitra, or whether he is Ari, whether he is Sadhushu, Cha Api, Papishu. They don't condemn anyone. This is compassion. So, how it is possible? It is possible by one who has conquered the mind. And how one has conquered the mind? Prabhupada has given very elaborate science of this. One who is following the superior dictation. So he can come to exhibit all this transcendental and spiritual qualities. And then you see what will be the quality of life. If you have a life when you are not envious or you have no negative feeling for anyone, what will be the quality of life? Kevan Ananda Panda. Heart will be filled with happiness. And how to apply, how to convert the jnana into vijnana? Disentangle from mundane life and engage in spiritual practice. Then you will have realization. Without realizations, this transcendental or the spiritual part will never reveal. So many times we have given the example, like the ghee is there in the milk, is it not? The butter is also there in the milk. But can you taste by drinking milk? Can you taste it? You cannot taste it. You need to know how to churn the milk. Then you can extract and then you can relish. So spiritual life is already there within us because we are all spirit soul. But can you have that spiritual experience? No. We need to follow the person who is fixed in spiritual knowledge of the spiritual path. Then we can have access. Otherwise, it is not possible. So Krishna is giving this Vijnana. He's telling Arjuna that do not be distracted by your mind. If you see, no, this is Arjuna is speaking. In the last verse of the first chapter, Arjuna is speaking that what is the cause of his trouble? Why is he crying? The last verse of the first chapter says, Evam uktva Arjunam Sankhye rathopastha upavishat visrajyam sasaram chapam shoka samvigna manasa. If the mind is not controlled, if it remains uncontrolled, then what will be the life? It will be only of shoka and samvigna. Lamentation and distress. The Bhagavad Gita is the book which removes all the lamentation and distress. How? By giving us the knowledge and the techniques how to control the mind. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. It's few minutes past 9. If you have any questions or any query or any doubt, please ask. Yes? Give the mic to her. You're studying here, na? Are you right? What's your name?
Sanjana,
Sanjana. Okay, Sanjana.
I have read somewhere today that मतलब कृष्णा कहते हैं कि मैं अनन्य भक्ति से मिलता हूँ
हाँ.
और अनन्यता मतलब सबने कृष्णा को देखना मतलब सबने कृष्णा को देखना है कोई भी नहीं।
कहाँ लिखा है? कहाँ लिखा है? आपके पास जो कृष्ण कहते हैं ना, वो भगवत गीता आपके हाथ में।
हाँ मतलब इसमें शायद कृष्ण
अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम ये जना पर्युपासते। भगवान ये नहीं कह रहे सबकी पूजा करो, अनन्य भाव से मेरी पूजा करो। पहले दूसरा क्या होता है? अनन्य चेता सततम यो माम स्मरति नित्यशः। ये नहीं बोले कि सबका स्मरण करो। किसका स्मरण करो? मेरा स्मरण। तो स्मरण होगा कैसे? अभी बताया ना, अतः कृष्ण नामादि ना भवेद प्राय मंदिर। स्मरण हो सकता है कृष्ण का? नहीं। स्मरण होने के लिए क्या चाहिए? स्पिरिचुअल सेंसेस चाहिए। सेंसेस स्पिरिचुअल कहाँ है? हमारी सेंसेस तो क्या है? मटीरियल है। तो पहले हमें अपने सेंसेस और माइंड को क्या करना पड़ेगा? प्यूरिफाई करना पड़ेगा, स्पिरिचुअलाइज करना, तब हम अनन्य भक्ति कर सकते हैं ना। उसी के लिए तो बता रहे। उसमें सबसे बड़ा हमारा ऑब्स्टेकल क्या है? माइंड। तो माइंड को कंट्रोल करने के लिए या कॉन्कर करने के लिए जो प्रोसेस है वो भी बता रहे हैं। स्टेप बाय स्टेप होगा ना। अनन्य भक्त कौन था? कुरेश था। प्रभुपाद जी थे, हम है क्या? कोई हमें थप्पड़ मार के जाएगा, बोलेंगे हाँ यू आर माई बेस्ट वेल विशर, बोलेंगे? बोलेंगे अच्छा तूने एक मारा है तो बताता हूँ मैं दो दूंगा। तो अनन्य भक्ति करने के लिए हाँ, हमारा भगवान के प्रति प्रेम होना चाहिए, तभी अनन्य भक्ति करेंगे ना। तो प्रेम होने के लिए क्या होना पड़ेगा? काम से रिक्त होना पड़ेगा। भी संसार को भोगने की भावना खत्म हो गई क्या? हाँ, पूजा लाभ प्रतिष्ठा और धन संपत्ति की इच्छा सब समाप्त हो गई क्या? प्रसाद नहीं मिले 2 दिन तो देखो क्या हाल होगा। 2 दिन क्या, एक दिन नहीं मिले, 2 घंटे नहीं मिले तो क्या हाल होगा? तो आर्टिफिशियली नहीं होगा, आर्टिफिशियली नहीं होगा। इसलिए बताने ना भगवान ज्ञान विज्ञान तृप्त आत्मा। पहले ज्ञान, और ज्ञान को विज्ञान में परिणत कर दिया, तब तृप्ति हो जाएगी ना। तो बाहर की चीज क्या लगेगी? हाँ, समलोष्ट अर्षमा, यूजलेस है, इसका क्या करेक्शन है? लेकिन आर्टिफिशियली मत करना, होगा नहीं, होगा नहीं।
इसी पॉसिबल है इसी वर्ड्स में।
इसी वर्ष में क्या? इसी के लिए तो भगवान ने दिया है। मन मना भव मद भक्तो मद्याजी माम नमस्कुरु मामेव शि सत्यम ते प्रतिजना प्रियोसी में। सर्वधर्मानि परित्यज्य से पहले ये करना होगा, तब सर्वधर्मानि परित्यज्य होगा। जब तक मन भगवान में नहीं लगा तो सरेंडर उनको कहाँ से होगा? सरेंडर कहाँ है? सरेंडर तो वह है जहां से इंद्रियों को सुख मिले। इंद्रियों को कृष्ण सुख कहाँ मिल रहा है? मिल रहा है क्या? नहीं मिल रहा है ना। तो फिर हमारी उनसे अनन्य प्रेम कैसे हो सकता है? हमारा जो मन है और जो हमारी इंद्रियां हैं वो प्रेम कहाँ से प्राप्त कर रही है? भोग से, इंद्रिय विषय से। तो जब तक वो शुद्ध नहीं होगी, तब तक वो कृष्ण के प्रति आकर्षित नहीं होगी। यही पूरा वर्ष है। आप देखो, इसी के ऊपर व्याख्या किया प्रभुपाद जी, यही वर्ष दे रहे हैं। अतः श्री कृष्ण नाम आदि ना भवेद ग्राह्यम इंद्रिय। कैसे होगा फिर? सेवन मुखे ही जीवा दे स्वयं स्फुरति यद। पढ़ो उसका ट्रांसलेशन दोबारा।
No one can understand the transcendental
ट्रांसेंडेंटल।
nature in form, quality and pastimes of Shri Krishna.
हाँ, तो अनन्य भक्ति में क्या है? ये तो कर रहा है, नाम रूप गुण और लीला। कहाँ तो समझ में आएगी नाम रूप गुण और लीला? मैं अभी तो यही बता रहा था। ये जितने लोग दिख रहे हैं ना, वो कुछ नहीं पता उनको, वो खाली शो कर रहे हैं। सब्सटेंस तो है ही नहीं। सब्सटेंस क्या है? ज्ञान और विज्ञान है, वो तो है ही नहीं। तो कहाँ से तृप्त होंगे? भगवान बता रहे हैं सिद्धांत क्या है कि ज्ञान और विज्ञान जब तक नहीं है तब तक अतृप्त आत्मा रहेंगे, वो भटकते रहेंगे। कभी इधर दिख जाएंगे, कभी उधर दिख जाएंगे, कभी कहीं और दिख जाएंगे, और फिर अल्टीमेटली गायब हो जाएंगे। दिखेंगे नहीं, कूटस्थ तो नहीं है ना। कूटस्थ तो कितना साइंटिफिक बताया है, ज्ञान विज्ञान तृप्तात्मा कूटस्थ विजितेंद्रिय। इंद्रियों पे पहले विजय मांगे ना। इंद्रियों पे जिसने जीत लिया है, जिसने मन को जीत लिया है, जो अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोजीशन में टिका हुआ है, तो ऐसा व्यक्ति, फिर उसके लिए कोई समस्या नहीं है, चाहे कहीं भी हो, कोई भी परिस्थिति हो। तो भगवान इसलिए अर्जुन को उस स्थिति में ला रहे हैं। तभी तो बोला अर्जुन ने कहा करिष्ये वचनम तवा। हमारे तो करिष्ये वचनम कबा, अरे कब करेगा? इस जन्म में नहीं किया, पिछले जन्म में नहीं किया, अभी पता नहीं कितने जन्म और लेगा, तब भी नहीं करेगा। क्यों करेगा? वही जो मन कहेगा। तो फिर क्या होगा? फिर क्या हो सकता है? ठीक है, पढ़ो, ध्यान से पढ़ो। अभी बताओ, आज मेरे पास गुरुकुल के बच्चे आए थे, चांस की बात है, आ गए। हाँ, उनको कुछ स्पॉन्सर्ड बुक्स देनी थी मुझे, तो सारे बच्चे आ गए, बहुत सारे बच्चे थे, और सब छोटे छोटे बच्चे थे, मतलब समझ लो एवरेज एज 6 या 7 ईयर्स की होगी। और उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे हमें गीता दिखाओ। तो मैं चला अपने ऑफिस, उनके साथ करीबन 20 बच्चे थे। तो हम वहां गए और वहां पे 7 चैप्टर का वर्ष खुला हुआ था एक। हाँ, और इतने तेज है, मैंने कहा अगला वर्ष बताओ। पूरा 7 चैप्टर हमने सुना दिया, खड़ाखट खड़ाखट बोलते गए बोलते गए बोलते गए। ये एजुकेशन, ये लाइफस्टाइल, उनको इस संसार में क्या हो रहा है उसे कोई लेना देना नहीं, कचरा पट्टी। और फिक्स्ड है, फोकस्ड है, बढ़िया से पूरा 7वां चैप्टर मुझे पढ़ा है। फिर बोले शो भी दिखेंगे। मैंने कहा, देखो आप ही के लिए तो है, और है किसके लिए? आप ही देखोगे तो और कौन देखेगा? यू आर द मोस्ट क्वालिफाइड पर्सन। इतना मुझे मतलब प्रसन्नता हुई कि वो क्यों गुरुकुल में आ गए, चेंज हो गया। तो ज्ञान और विज्ञान, ज्ञान तो शुरू से ही मिल रहा है, ज्ञान और विज्ञान, क्योंकि अप्लाई कर रहे हैं। तो जब तक एप्लीकेशन नहीं करेंगे तो ये विज्ञान में कन्वर्ट नहीं होगा, और जब तक विज्ञान में कन्वर्ट नहीं होगा तब तक हम सही सिचुएट नहीं होंगे, और जब तक सही सिचुएट नहीं होंगे रियलाइजेशन नहीं आएगा। रियलाइजेशन नहीं आएगा तो संसार का जो आकर्षण है, हाँ, या जो संसार से हमारा डिस्ट्रैक्शन है, वो दूर नहीं होगा। तो इसलिए पढ़िए, सुनिए, जो आगे बढ़े हुए हैं उनसे सीखिए, तो आप भी धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ जाएंगे, ऑटोमेटिक बढ़ जाएंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि।